Tonight, a shooting at the White House Correspondents Dinner sends officials running and ducking for cover.
It's being reported that in this manifesto, he refers to himself as the friendly federal assassin.
What we know about the suspect and reaction to the shocking incident. A boost to Canadian tourism as more Americans explore the Great White North.
We love Canada. We love America. We don't love what's going on there.
How Ottawa is gearing up for what officials hope will be another busy season. And home at long last.
We've been looking forward to this ever since November of last year when we won the Cup.
After winning it all last season, Atletico Ottawa puts on a show in the club's home opener.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. New details are emerging about the suspect who opened fire at the White House Correspondents Dinner last night. Investigators believe the lone wolf shooter, Cole Tomas Allen, was a California teacher who allegedly called himself the friendly federal assassin in a manifesto. CTV senior correspondent Judy Trinh reports.
Chaos after shots rang out at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. President Donald Trump and the First Lady were rushed from the stage within seconds. Journalists and other politicians took cover under tables after a lone gunman stormed through the security checkpoint of the Washington Hilton Hotel.
I hear gunshots, boom, boom, really loud. And the next thing I know is a police officer saying, "Get down, get down, get down." He's saying that to me.
The suspect, armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives, exchanged gunfire with the Secret Service. One agent was shot in the chest, but saved by his bulletproof vest. The gunman was subdued outside the ballroom where the president and his team were in attendance.
The man has been captured. They're going to his apartment. I guess he lives in California. And he's a sick person, a very sick person.
The suspect, Cole Tomas Allen, is a 31-year-old teacher at a college prep school. He has degrees in mechanical engineering and computer science and is a video games developer. After his arrest in D.C., law enforcement raided Allen's home in Los Angeles County, where he lives with his parents. White House officials say they found a manifesto.
It does appear the suspect was targeting members of the administration. I don't want to go beyond that because we don't have specifics yet about particular members of the administration, except that we do understand that that was his goal and his target.
The suspect sent messages to relatives suggesting a violent plan. Investigators say after the attack, his family called police.
The parents I'm friends with. I'm friends with his dad. They're very solid, peaceful, good people in the community.
In the manifesto he allegedly sent to his family, Cole Tomas Allen referred to himself as the friendly federal assassin and said that he doesn't expect forgiveness. He will be officially arraigned on Monday. Prior to this attack at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, there have been 2 previous attempts on Donald Trump's life. Judy Trinh, CTV News, Ottawa.
New data from Statistics Canada shows Americans are taking more trips to Canada. In Ottawa, tourism is seeing a bit of an uptick, and businesses are ready to welcome more U.S. visitors this season. CTV's Camille Wilson joins us live in studio with more on this. Camille.
Austin, Ottawa is a hot spot for travelers from all across the globe, and despite the political trade tensions between the United States and Canada, Americans are making more trips to Canada. Those I met with today said it's a place that brings them peace. After making their first trip to Ottawa last year, this family is back for another weekend getaway.
We befriended a really wonderful person named Heather. She's from Ontario, and she's actually been my mom's pen pal.
Wonderful place, wonderful people. We can't say enough about it. People are just polite, it's quiet. It gives you a nice, safe feeling.
Visiting from Utica, New York, they are not only big fans of the city.
We came for the women's hockey, and we support the Women's Hockey League. And we kind of adopted the Chargers because we came up here last year. and that became our team.
New data from Statistics Canada shows trips to Canada by United States residents increased 5.9% last year, arrivals by car up 6.8%, and arrivals by air increased 4.8% year over year.
We love Canada.
We do love Canada. Everyone's super friendly and welcoming.
These friends celebrating a 40th birthday.
Somewhere different, somewhere new, somewhere fun.
To get away from the States, it's a little different.
Ottawa Tourism says it's heartened by the latest StatsCan data, but U.S. visits to the capital are down compared to last year. However, visitors from the U.S. stayed longer and spent 15% more during their trips to Ottawa.
It's remarkable to have that east-west, north-south commuter, and there's open spaces here that's remarkable. Your parks are beautiful. So everything's well curated. Curated. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Tour companies are looking forward to the upcoming tourism season.
We have our Tulip Festival pre-bookings coming in, and honestly, it's looking pretty good. We're actually up like 30% from last year on the pre-bookings.
Not letting the political tensions get in the way.
Being on the state side is that politics don't represent the people.
Right.
And so we're all individuals. We all understand to a degree what's right and wrong.
I'm not afraid to travel, honestly.
I don't think just the political scene necessarily reflects the people of Canada or the U.S. 100%. So we can 100%
Absolutely
be and then friendly neighbors.
And best believe they will be back.
He wants to come up and ice skate in the winter.
Oh,
That's his
yeah, I
goal.
want to do the canal.
For the upcoming tourism season, the capital is expecting more visitors, and Ottawa Tourism says they are well positioned to welcome Americans to the capital region. Austin.
Okay, Camille, thank you very much for this. CTV's Camille Wilson reporting live for us tonight. And any tourist in the city had a beautiful day to be exploring the capital here. We had sunshine and real toasty conditions. True spring day as we take our first look at the weather forecast. 17 degrees right now. The sun is still shining, and you're going to want to enjoy it, because it's not going to last, unfortunately. We'll have more on that in a moment. For now, you need to know that tonight's low is 2 degrees, 0 in Bancroft and in Pembroke. So pretty cool for the overnight lows. Real temperature swings. Same goes for Gatineau, 0 degrees overnight as the low this evening. Tomorrow's high, even warmer, 20 degrees. Almost time to break out those AC units because, yeah, it's getting hot. And sun is shining across the region. 22 is the high tomorrow in Maniwaki. A man from Ottawa is dead after a boat capsized on the St. Lawrence River last night. Ontario Provincial Police say the 41-year-old was in a 15-foot aluminum boat with multiple others when it overturned just north of Grenadier Island shortly after 10 o'clock last night. Police say he was located shortly after the incident and was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. An investigation is now underway. Ottawa fire crews sprang into action this morning as a grass fire in the city's rural West End spread. It happened in the 7000 block of Bleaks Road west of Richmond at around 11:20 a.m. Ottawa Fire Services says it grew to about 300 square meters, but no structures were impacted. The situation was deemed under control nearly an hour after crews arrived. This was the second grass fire reported this weekend. The first burned over an acre of land in the 4000 block of Dwyer Hill Road Saturday afternoon. Well, one man is in hospital after a vehicle collided with a scooter in Vanier this afternoon. Ottawa paramedics say emergency crews responded to the incident at around 12:45 at the intersection of MacArthur and LaFontaine Avenues. A man between 40 and 50 years old suffered serious but non-life-threatening injuries and was transported to the trauma center. That intersection was closed for several hours. And a woman was sent to hospital in critical condition after a high-speed crash in Ottawa's South End yesterday evening. Ottawa paramedics tell CTV News Ottawa 3 others were also injured in the crash on Barnsdale Road at Trail Road, just east of the 416 at around 6:15 p.m. 7 people total were involved in that 2-vehicle crash. Atletico Ottawa is back at TD Place, opening their home schedule after winning the North Star Cup last season, and fans packing Lansdowne today. The club is looking to build on some of that championship momentum. CTV's Josh Morano joins us live in studio with more on the club's home opener. Josh.
Yeah, Austin, Atletico Ottawa is officially back on home turf after starting the season on the road. And while there's some turnover from last year's roster, fans in attendance still reminiscing about last year's championship win with the North Star Cup in the building. Atletico Ottawa is back at TD Place, and Alessio Corzado is right at the center of the home opener.
I got to stand with the captain. I got to be with the trophy that they won last year. It's a pretty incredible experience.
Before kickoff, Corzado honored on the pitch as the club's first community captain, a new initiative partnering with the Champions for Chio Foundation, recognizing community members with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
I was playing soccer my whole life, and then as soon as I turned, 16, then I went to Chio for a little bit, and now I get to stand here and show other people that it's possible and it's not the end of the world. A little bit of motivation for people.
Part of what we do here internally is continue working with the community, and Chio is a great example of a partner that has been working for a long time in Ottawa, supporting different initiatives with children with different needs.
Corzado joins thousands of fans at Lansdowne, welcoming back the Canadian Premier League champs in style.
We've been looking forward to this ever since November of last year when we won the Cup. Getting back here, it feels like it's been a long time.
Team has changed quite a bit, but we're excited for, the new season and to try to go for the Cup again.
There were concerns that the field at TD Place wouldn't be ready for kickoff due to ongoing construction for Lansdowne 2.0, but the club says crews have been working around the clock to ensure it would be ready to go.
The amount of work they have put in the last few months and actually weeks have been very, very impressive to ensure that we're able to play.
We've been planning for this for months, creating the chance, getting the dub set up for everything and for everyone that's been waiting for this time.
And on the pitch,
see holding an impenetrable front on their side of the box, but somehow they get it behind.
The team tying the game in added time for a 1-1 draw against Vancouver FC. And for Corzado, while he's always been a supporter, he says after today, he's a fan for life.
Considering I was ball boy 2 years ago, and today I get to stand next to the trophy, it's an incredible experience.
Corzado is the first of 14 community heroes to be honored ahead of every home match. And while this match ending in a draw, Atletico Ottawa now has a record of 1 win, 1 draw, and 2 losses on the young season. Austin.
And big expectations this season as well, Josh.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for this. Prime Minister Mark Carney is set to meet with his newly named Canada-U.S. Advisory Committee for the first time tomorrow. The council is made up of some members from the previous council, while adding former Quebec Premier Jean Charest, as well as former Canadian High Commissioner to the United Kingdom Ralph Goodale, former Conservative Cabinet Minister Lisa Raitt, and former Conservative leader Erin O'Toole. O'Toole spoke with Vashi Kapelos on CTV Question Period, outlining what he hopes to bring to the committee.
I didn't want Vashi to be a symbolic, let's use Erin O'Toole in a photo op and cause challenges in Parliament. I wanted this to be you're bringing in a Conservative voice with some experience to try and make sure that this is a best effort Team Canada. And I was reassured that this is a substantive, serious exercise.
When asked about the Prime Minister's decision to allow some Chinese EVs into Canada, O'Toole said he's been openly critical of that part of Carney's trip to China earlier this year as part of an effort to reset relations with China. O'Toole says Canada should stay aligned with the United States as part of a united North American front. Well, the federal New Democrats are expected to lose another member, leaving them with only 5 seats in Parliament. Sources tell CTV's Bell media partner Nouveau Info Quebec MP Alexandre Boulruisse will resign from Parliament and quit the NDP so he can run provincially. That step would also leave the NDP with no MPs from the Quebec area. Boulruisse is expected to officially announce his resignation tomorrow. And a new report set to be released tomorrow by Jewish human rights organization B'nai B'rith is said to show anti-Semitism in Canada has reached record levels as hate crimes across the board here in this country continue to climb. CTV's Jeremy Sharon has the details.
Fueled by geopolitical tensions, in the aftermath of the October 7th Hamas attacks on Israel, anti-Semitism in Canada has reached unprecedented levels, says one of the country's most prominent Jewish human rights organizations.
There is a national crisis of anti-Semitism, which is actually getting worse in Canada, not better. The numbers are truly staggering. They speak for themselves, and they cannot be ignored.
Speaking with CTV News ahead of a Monday morning press conference on Parliament Hill, B'nai B'rith says its annual audit of anti-Semitism in Canada shows a record number of incidents in the country.
This is a moment in time where the Jewish community is facing a threat that it has never faced before, at least not since we began recording our audit of anti-Semitic incidents in 1982.
The most recent data from Stats Canada shows hate crimes across the board have increased steadily for the last 6 consecutive years. Jewish and Muslim communities are the most targeted religious groups.
The data that we're seeing is actually quite concerning. At the National Council of Canadian Muslims, we have a legal clinic, and we've seen more than a 10-fold rise in cases coming in.
The federal government introduced new anti-hate legislation last year aimed at making it easier to lay hate-related charges.
Hate is not limited to the doorsteps of our religious institutions, but is prevalent throughout the entirety of our communities. We see it in our streets, we see it in our parks, we see it in our grocery stores. Frankly, we see it almost everywhere.
The bill has yet to become law, but did pass its final vote in the House of Commons and has moved to the Senate for review. Meanwhile, B'nai B'rith says Jewish communities in Canada continue to be unfairly targeted.
And are unduly the victims of hate as a result of individuals' notions or sentiments regarding Israel and the Israeli state.
The organization will make the findings of its annual report public Monday. Data, it says, is deeply disturbing and needs to be addressed. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, social media sites are often easy places for predators to hide, and with checks and barriers unable to keep up with user activity, it comes as no surprise that more cases of luring are being reported to authorities. CTV's Kamil Karamali tonight with parents and their push for change.
So you go onto the site.
This website is where 12-year-old Nathaniel Charles and his friends go to chat online, but it's not always with each other.
Your friends, who do they talk to on this website?
Just random people.
An age verification prompt easy to bypass.
All you have to do is scroll down and click a random age.
And it's on this site that one of his friends became a target.
One time my friend was on it, and then he was like talking to people. It was going good, and then someone was like masturbating on the camera.
As a parent, there is absolutely no way you can keep up. They're so ahead of us.
Last week, Statistics Canada released data showing the number of online child luring cases reported to police in 2025. Nearly 3,500 instances, a 20% increase from 2024's numbers.
When it comes to these types of offenses, it is grossly underreported. I think those numbers are significantly higher.
Across the board, child luring and exploitation cases are on the rise in Canada, with kids having easier access to social media and online chats now available through gaming and in more apps than ever before.
Spotify, which is a platform that we all think about and use for music, but they introduced private messaging functions.
The pushback against social media giants has been mounting, with thousands of lawsuits.
They can kind of work around regulation. So they actually, in our belief, have to bear the financial consequences of their outrageous misconduct by compensating the victims.
Even then, countries around the world have still tried to implement and enforce those regulations. Australia and France now with legal age limits for social media use.
A couple of years ago, Canada introduced a bill called the Online Harms Act that aimed to make social media companies legally responsible for protecting its users, but that died in early 2025 when Parliament was prorogued.
Like at 7-Eleven?
This mother now organizing a rally in Ottawa on Monday to push for new legislation.
Let's hold these big tech companies accountable.
Before someone she knows and loves becomes a target. Kamil Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
And Manitoba is set to ban youth from using social media and AI chatbots. That's according to Premier Wab Kinew. Manitoba's proposed law to protect youth from social media harms would be a first in Canada, inspired by Australia's law, requiring platforms to keep youth under 16 years old off of their apps or face penalties. Premier Kinew did not say the age the province is considering for the ban or a timeline, but says the platforms are designed to be, quote, addictive. Well, turning now to some good news in the world of hockey. Ottawa Charge head coach Carla McLeod will be back behind the bench for the PWHL playoffs. McLeod missed 5 games towards the end of the regular season to focus on her health and treatment for breast cancer. It's still unclear who the Charge will face or when they will kick off their first-round series, but what is clear is where they will play their home games. The team announcing this weekend all home playoff games this year will be played at Canadian Tire Centre. And the 11th annual Wonderland Tea Party for Youth Mental Health at CHEO went ahead today.
This event has raised more than $300,000 over the years. It's absolutely remarkable. But I think more importantly, it just sends a really positive signal to young people in our community that we stand with them.
Organizers say in the past decade, CHEO has seen a 75% increase in teens seeking mental health and support treatment. The Wonderland Tea Party started 11 years ago in memory of Jamie Hubley, who suffered from depression. The Hubley family remains strongly committed to helping children suffering from mental health challenges.
It would be a recognition of that level of sacrifice and a thank you.
Just ahead, thousands of Canadians who fought in recent wars could soon officially be considered war veterans. Details on the changes to Canada's War Vets designation when we come back. Before the break, here's a live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam. It is 19 degrees. Roughly 50,000 Canadians fought in the Gulf and Afghanistan wars, but those men and women are not officially considered Canadian war veterans. A new Senate bill sets out to change that and give these members of the military the recognition they say is long overdue. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has that story.
It's my National War Memorial, and I want to see all the dates, past, present, and future.
When Mike McGlennon walks by the National War Memorial, he can't help but feel let down.
I would like to see my dates of 1990-91 added to this monument one day.
His service in the Gulf War isn't commemorated, a stinging reminder that by law he isn't officially a war veteran.
It would be a recognition of that level of sacrifice and a thank you that we're not getting at the moment.
Under federal law, only those who fought in the First, Second, and Korean Wars are defined as war veterans, meaning Canadians who served in conflicts in the 72 years since are excluded. Afghanistan veteran retired Colonel Mark Gasparotto is one of them.
Soldiers don't join necessarily for that recognition, but if they are going to go and put their lives on the line, then the nation should call it what it is. And from that should flow proper recognition.
During the 2025 election, Mark Carney promised to review these designations, but so far his government hasn't followed through. The Conservatives have also called for this change.
I have the honor to introduce a bill.
Now, Senator Hassan Youssef is taking it into his own hands, tabling a private member's bill that seeks to recognize modern military missions and streamline the symbolic wartime service designation.
I'm hoping, given the history, given what's been said by the two parties, they're actually going to step up now and do what is required of them. Show their commitment to say, hey, we can finally complete this task.
McGlennon considers himself a war veteran and hopes soon the government will too.
It speaks to the risks. It speaks to the legacy, the military history of the country, what our children learn in the school system, in their textbooks. I want my grandchildren to know.
Veterans say they don't know why this change hasn't happened yet. The bill as is offers no additional benefit other than the recognition of service and sacrifice veterans have been advocating for. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
If you had the chance to spend some time outside today, boy, am I jealous. I got out for a little bit this morning and it was nice, but it was even warmer later in the day and these tulips are loving it. They're showing some signs of life. Cameraman Brad spotting those tulips coming out from the dirt, and maybe this weather was enough to keep those terrifying cobra chickens happy, but I don't know. It was nice enough for that dog to go out for a swim, though. Finally, some spring weather. Ooh, he's drinking the water there. I don't know if I would do that. Either way, it's been gorgeous. The satellite radar is showing us not a heck of a lot in the way of cloud activity. Clear skies for the most part. 0 degrees, however, in St. John's, and they do have some snow out there. It's a stark contrast in Fredericton, 18 degrees and sunny, 13 in Halifax with mostly sunny conditions. We're currently sitting at 19, while Toronto is at 13 with a mix of sun and cloud, mostly cloudy there, 15 in Windsor, 18 degrees in Sudbury. Out on the prairies, it's still winter. It's -3 in Calgary, -3 in Edmonton, and they have snow on the ground, so not what you want to see this time of year. 0 right now in Regina and in Saskatoon, 14 in Vancouver with mostly sunny conditions. We're getting down to 2 degrees tonight, then warming up Times 10 from that. 20 is the high for tomorrow afternoon. Beautiful sunny conditions. It's going to be another glorious one. The Ottawa Valley is going to get to the freezing mark tonight, however, 0 before warming up to 18 for tomorrow. And along the Seaway, 2 degrees tonight, 20 degrees for them as well. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast, and it's going to show you that you're going to want to take advantage of that 20-degree high for Monday, and then Tuesday, it's going to be nice as well, 19 with a mix of sun and cloud. Then the precipitation will start to roll in. 40% chance on both Wednesday and Thursday. There's some chance for snow on Friday, most likely in the overnight hours as we get down to a low of 2 degrees, and then mixing in probably some rain over the course of the day is what we're expecting right now. 30% chance of showers on Saturday with a high of just 9 degrees. Well, Canadians throw away about 5 million tons of plastic waste every year. Some of it gets recycled, but a lot of it doesn't. And because plastic doesn't easily degrade, it ends up polluting our environment. CTV's Alex Karpa shows us how a team of researchers in Manitoba is tackling the problem of plastic pollution in a unique way.
Millions of tons of plastic are produced every year, yet less than 10% is recycled, fueling environmental and health concerns.
We have a global crisis with plastic pollution.
Keen on finding a solution to this growing problem, a team of researchers at the University of Manitoba turned to biology for answers. They created a new kind of bacteria that can safely help clean up plastic waste in a simple, long-lasting way without needing special chemicals or antibiotics.
If we can find a way of converting the plastic into a resource that microbes can metabolize and produce a product of value, like an antibiotic or an antioxidant or some kind of value-added product, then the plastic will have some value and it won't just get discarded in the environment.
The research is still ongoing, but it could represent a major step forward in addressing the world's growing plastic pollution crisis.
We are dealing not only with synthetic plastic, with synthetic materials that human made, but also with the now new synthetic organisms that we are making. Therefore, it is very important that all this scientific progress is communicated to society, and society should take part in this discussion.
For student researcher Catherine Romero, being part of the project has been a meaningful opportunity to contribute to real-world change.
This project was very insightful. By science and by engineering, you can get more knowledge.
We need to find a way of mitigating this plastic pollution so we can leave the planet in a better shape than we found it.
Even with encouraging progress, there's a continued need for funding as researchers try and overcome challenges in hopes of still making a lasting impact for future generations. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
We are sitting at 49%, meaning that almost half of the Canadians that we surveyed stated that they might be interested in purchasing an EV as their next vehicle.
Up next, you feeling the pain at the pumps? Well, it seems more drivers are looking toward electric vehicles as gas prices continue to climb. A Saskatoon teenager with a rare form of Parkinson's disease is bouncing back from a life-changing surgery, one that was only available here in Ontario. Advocates are now calling for more training and resources to bridge the gap in the healthcare system. CTV's Alison Bamford has their story.
Basketball is Joey Shake's favorite sport, but playing it hasn't always been easy.
My body gets really shaky.
The 17-year-old has juvenile Parkinson's, a rare form of the disease. Tremors in his legs, hands, and throat impact his mobility, speech, and eating.
When Joey was 5 years old, we started to notice that things were very different. Joey was no longer able to write his name and had lost lots of his fine motor skills.
3 years later, they had a diagnosis. Through trial and error, they managed his tremors with different medications. But down the road, his health got worse.
We were really starting to worry about him. He had lost lots of his mobility skills. He had no fine motor skills at all left. He couldn't even carry a conversation.
It was too hard, and no one can understand me.
Everything changed last fall when Shake traveled to Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto, undergoing deep brain stimulation, a 14-hour procedure.
Deep brain stimulation is a type of a pacemaker that you use for the brain.
Most provinces, including Saskatchewan, don't offer the procedure for pediatrics due to a lack of specially trained physicians. Sheikh's neurologist would like to see that changed.
I think that's really will benefit children across Canada.
In the case of Joey, is that he did have to get that specialized care outside of the province, and of course that incurs costs.
Since the surgery, Sheikh's rebounded quite well. He'll have to go back to Toronto for checkups, but despite a long road ahead, he plans to never give up.
Every time I do something, I say, never give up, and you could do anything that you could put your mind to.
His motto, to live by. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
There is more interest in electric vehicles these days. That's given the dropping prices of those vehicles and rising fuel costs. But experts say there's a big difference between interest and actually buying one. CTV's Spencer Turcotte reports.
As people feel the pain at the pumps due to rising fuel costs, it seems drivers are looking for alternatives.
Now we're sitting at 49%, meaning that almost half of the Canadians that we surveyed stated that they might be interested in purchasing an EV as their next vehicle.
New data from Auto Trader suggests interest in electric vehicles is rebounding for the first time since 2022.
Let's think about what the federal government announced in the beginning of February,
suggesting the new EV and hybrid rebate program and commitment to more EV infrastructure is driving interest. And while there is hesitancy around the current charging availability as well as range anxiety, the cost of gas is what's really behind this shift.
As we all know, there's a situation going on between Iran and United States since February 28th.
But Dylan Meyer, business manager of quality car sales in Kitchener, says there is a big difference between people saying they're interested in going electric for their next vehicle and actually acting on that interest.
If they start weighing their options for pricing of electric car, installing a charger at their house, range for the electric car, and then of course the resale, I'd like to see those survey results because they would probably be a lot different.
Meyer adds that some Canadian cities may make more sense for going fully electric compared to others.
The hybrid or the plug-in hybrid vehicle definitely bridges the gap between a gasoline and a full electric. Southwestern Ontario might have some pockets where an electric car makes more sense, like downtown Toronto, but the vast amount of Ontario's population would prefer to drive a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid.
While EV sales on Auto Trader are up 38% year over year, some experts say it could take more time for interest to turn into sales in Canadian communities where charging infrastructure is more sparse. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Kitchener.
In tonight's big picture, the Toronto Raptors have tied up their first round NBA playoff series at 2 games apiece. Here's a look at the fans at Jurassic Park watching the game on the big screen. This wasn't easy, but the Raps ended the game on a 15-5 run to down the Cleveland Cavaliers 93-89 in Game 4 this afternoon. The series now heads back to Cleveland for Game 5 on Wednesday. And turning now to some of the other stories that you need to know, the University of Ottawa Heart Institute Foundation hosted the Ottawa Pickleball Classic at the EY Centre today. Now, some familiar faces there taking part in this afternoon's festivities. That's CTV's Patricia Bowl and Graham Richardson reuniting on the court. The event giving players a chance to compete, connect, and support life-saving research at the University of Ottawa Heart Institute. After going unselected in the 2026 draft, 2 Ottawa natives have signed undrafted free agent deals with NFL teams. According to TSN's Dave Naylor, Wesley Bailey is heading to the Los Angeles Rams. Bailey was touted as one of the most athletic Canadian players in the 2026 NFL draft class. The 6'5" defensive end had a productive collegiate season at Rutgers and also at Louisville, including 39 tackles and 6 sacks last season. And Renee Conga is going to Miami. Moments after the draft ended, Conga reportedly signed a guaranteed contract with the Dolphins worth $287,500. The 6'4" defensive tackle spent his first 3 collegiate seasons at Rutgers, then transferred to Louisville for his final 2 years. And a new memorial has been installed at Montreal's Trudeau Airport. It's in honor of the 2 Air Canada pilots who were killed in a collision at New York's LaGuardia Airport last month. 30-year-old Captain Antoine Forêt from Quebec and 24-year-old First Officer Mackenzie Gunther from Ontario died in the crash on the runway after colliding with a fire truck. More than 40 others were injured in the crash, including the two firefighters in the truck. The memorial is in a park across from the airport's runways.
Women's soccer in Canada has always had pretty high expectations, and the Northern Super League is no different.
Still ahead, kicking it up ahead of the World Cup, Season 2 of the Northern Super League for Canada's women's soccer teams. Well, in case you missed it this week, Ottawa police are warning people, especially seniors, to be vigilant as they anticipate a rise in so-called distraction thefts, including 2 victims targeted just hours apart in the city. CTV's Caitlin Wilson reports.
This video capturing the moment after Sangla says he was robbed. You can see him running, chasing after what appears to be a dark-colored BMW just before 2:30 Monday. He was taking out the garbage behind his restaurant on Somerset Street West when he says 2 men pulled up trying to hand him something.
It's like a gold chain, and then they offered it to him.
No.
He rejected it.
No.
He said no, and he walked this way.
His daughter, who's translating for him, says that's when things escalated. He says one of the men grabbed him, choked him before taking off with his necklace.
My mom's mom gave it to him, and he's been wearing it for 20 years.
20 years.
20 years, and he also attached his wedding ring. He is a bit shooken up, I would say, a bit traumatized.
3 hours later at the Billingsbridge Walmart, Marie Roberge says she was targeted in a similar way.
There was a vehicle coming up from...
She says she was approached by 3 people in a vehicle. A woman asked for help, then tried to hand her a gold chain to say thanks.
A minute or 2 later, she reached out, pulled me by the back of my neck. When I pulled back, her finger got loose. My chain left my neck. She ripped it off my neck.
A present from her late husband. Police say they are seeing more of these so-called distraction thefts, but can't confirm if these cases are connected.
Keep your distance and be alert. Make eye contact with them. If they get too close, tell them to stay back. We do know that there are groups that move through the province. Are they all connected? I don't know that, but they are professionals.
For both victims, it's not just what was taken, it's what it meant. The jewelry, sentimental and worth thousands of dollars.
That was the last thing my ex-husband ever bought for me. I can't get that back.
We're grateful that, he is okay and healthy. These people need to be stopped.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
We are just weeks away from World Cup soccer in Canada, but fans do not have to wait to catch an elite football match. The Professional Women's Soccer League just kicked off its 2nd season, and CTV's Heather Wright has more on the high goals of the Northern Super League.
Numbers paint a picture of just how popular soccer is in Canada. With an estimated 1 million registered players, it's the fastest growing amateur sport in the country.
We live in such an incredible women's sport market.
And that popularity is helping to fuel the rise of the Northern Super League, which kicks off Season 2 with big goals ahead.
Women's soccer in Canada has always had pretty high expectations, and the Northern Super League is no different.
League co-founder Diana Matheson says in its inaugural season, the NSL ended the year with the 3rd highest average attendance in women's global football, generating roughly $30 million in revenue and captivating fans across 6 Canadian markets. She says this is just the start for the Northern Super League and for women's sport more broadly.
Women's professional sport is a massive industry globally. It went from $1 billion industry globally in 2024 to now projected to be a $3 billion industry globally in 2026, and women's soccer is a huge part of that.
And with a deep pool of talent in Canada, Matheson says the Northern Super League gives Canadian players an opportunity to develop here at home rather than seek professional opportunities abroad.
What this league is doing is developing professional pathways from coast to coast, inspiring kids from coast to coast, and building a whole industry around this.
With Canada set to host 13 matches for the Men's World Cup this summer, Matheson expects there to be a surge in interest in the game.
We're still relatively new to soccer in Canada compared to the rest of the world, and there is lots of room to grow. So we're expecting more registrations, boys and girls across Canada from this.
And with the anticipated growth in popularity, there are also growing calls for more infrastructure, including mid-sized stadiums and indoor fields to give more people the opportunity to play soccer all year round. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
I think it shows everybody coming together and accepting those differences and, being able to love one another in communities and society.
Still ahead, why students in Montreal spent a day wearing mismatched shoes. Students in schools across the Greater Montreal area recently wore mismatched shoes. It's part of the first ever Impossible Pair push for inclusivity and respect. CTV's Christine Long has more.
At Royal West Academy, it was Casual Friday with a kick. 2 kicks, actually, different colored ones.
Our mismatched shoes represent diversity.
Mismatched Pair Day aims to give the boot to bullies.
There's a lot of differences in society, but I think it shows everybody coming together and accepting those differences and, being able to love one another in communities and society.
The initiative is spearheaded by Stephen Bronfman and Andy Nullman, co-founders of PACT, which stands for The Power to Act.
I've been wearing 2 different shoes for a long time, and what it does is it sparks the conversation. People start talking, and nobody does not smile when they hear the reason why we're wearing 2 different shoes, that we can be different yet still get along.
That message is being shared widely as celebrities like Howie Mandel are wearing mismatched shoes and posting it to bring awareness and raise money for the cause. Donations are collected for organizations that fight racism, sexism, cyberbullying, and homophobia. Tame Abood doubled up on the anti-hate message.
Anti-bullying is associated with pink, so I decided to go for a pink outfit. And more than that, I feel like wearing mismatched shoes, it's less more about how it looks, but it's more the deep message behind it.
A deep message that insists on positive change.
We believe our students, our current leaders, our future leaders are the ones that are going to take matters into their own hands, and they're going to make sure that we push forward with an incredible message of hope.
PACT, the power to act, something Brianna Bramante has done.
By taking initiative and either going to the person who did the bullying or the person who was bullied just to see how they're feeling and if they need any outsider opinions or outsider advice.
They agree. Everyone deserves respect. Christine Long, CTV News.
Still ahead, history at the London Marathon. Details on a new world record and major milestone when we come back. But before we go to break, there's a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam. It's a beautiful 19 degrees.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Here's a recap of the top stories we're following right now. A shooting at the White House Correspondents Dinner sends officials running and ducking for cover. We shared what we know about the suspect and reaction. The shocking incident.
Wonderful place, wonderful people. We can't say enough about it.
A boost to Canadian tourism as more Americans explore the Great White North. How Ottawa is gearing up for what officials hope will be another busy season. And back home at long last. After winning it all last season, Atletico Ottawa puts on a show in the club's home opener. And it was a beautiful day for that home opener as well, to be standing in the stands at TD Place or to be on the pitch. beautiful conditions today. Waking up to 2 degrees, so it will be getting quite cool in the overnight hours, and then getting up to a daytime high of 20, so even warmer for tomorrow. 19 on Tuesday as the clouds roll in, and then those clouds will start to spit down rain on Wednesday. 40% chance of showers on Wednesday and Thursday. Same goes for Friday. There is a chance we might see some snow mixed in there. Finally for us tonight, an incredible feat of endurance and strength. The world record has been set at the London Marathon as a Kenyan becomes the first man to break the 2-hour barrier. 29-year-old Sebastian Sawe crossed the line in an incredible 1 hour, 59 minutes and 30 seconds. The second place runner also finished in under 2 hours. Impressive running all around, and there was a record set in the women's race as well with Ethiopia's Tigist Asefa, there we go, landing atop the podium. She was defending her title in the fastest ever time in a women's only marathon. Such strong running all around, but again, for two people in the same race to break the 2-hour mark is unheard of. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night.